Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another part of my renovating base game series. This is a series where I am renovating the base game and using only base game to do it, and this is the Oakenstead house in case you guys missed it. I did share the first part yesterday, and this is going to be the second part. The first part was the entire exterior, the landscaping, changing up the exterior facade. Basically, I changed a lot about this house. This is probably my most renovated of all of the builds in this series, but I just couldn't help it. I felt like the house that needed to be here needed to be a bit extra and more grand, and so I needed to make a lot of changes to make that happen. And yeah, this part I'm sharing the entire interior, so all of the decorating. The floor plan was also in the first part, so in case you guys like to see all of that stuff, I will have it linked in the description and the end card so you guys can find it really easily. And yeah, here I am decorating the living room or family room, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be like the sitting room with the actual television. There's going to be a formal sitting room with the piano and just a fireplace and like artwork and books and kind of a more fancier space. I really wanted this house to feel a lot more fancy than it did originally. Originally, the house just felt more like a regular house but big, basically, because the color scheme was all over the place. There was like orange couches, there was blue curtains, like dark blue curtains, and light blue walls, and then there was like black tile in the kitchen, and I don't know, it just felt very just non-cohesive. And I feel like a house like this needs to feel a bit more planned out and more cohesive. Like I feel like the family that would live here would be a lot more particular about the decorations, and they might even hire like a decorator or some sort of a planner to buy their furniture or something. I don't know, I feel like a very rich family would live here, and so I feel like they would probably utilize those resources for decorating their house rather than just kind of using whatever furniture they could find or afford. And I felt like that's how it was decorated originally, which I actually really like that sort of decorating style, but for the appropriate style of build. Basically, for this house, I needed it to be extra, like the mayor of Willow Creek lives here or something, or like, I don't know, somebody very important lives here and very wealthy, I think. So yeah, hopefully you guys will like the changes that I made. Over here is going to be the dining space. Originally, the dining space was on the right side of the build, and that's where I ended up making like the formal seating area. And the Sims might not be able to light the fireplace because I think the dining room or the dining table might be a bit too close to the fireplace, but I still like the way it looks with the fireplace there nonetheless. So if you really need to light it, you might have to pull the table away from it slightly. I always forget about that, and then sometimes I'm going to take screenshots and I want to light a fireplace, and then I realize that the Sims need so much space to light a fireplace. I feel like that used to not be the case. I feel like I used to be able to put items really close to a fireplace and the Sims would have no problem getting to it, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Anyways, over here is going to be the formal sitting area with some bookcases, the grand piano. I used it in this baby blue color, and I think it is so cute. It like matches the walls, and I'm not really sure if I've ever used it in that particular color, so I was really happy with that. There's also another fireplace in here. I did the round coffee table trick again. This base game coffee table looks really good overlapped, and basically you can just place one next to each other over and over, just rotate them, and it makes like kind of a round coffee table. It's not perfectly round, but it makes a really nice pattern, and I've been doing this for a really long time, and then whenever I do it, I just kind of forget that some of you guys haven't seen me do it before, and I'll get like a few comments saying like, oh, that's a really good trick. And so yeah, it's very easy to do, and I think it makes it look extra special. And yeah, basically in here I just wanted it to be a nice sitting area for your Sims to socialize. I really feel like the family that lives here probably has a lot of guests over, and they like visiting and having dinner parties and just being quite the socialites. So I really wanted this to be like a nice space for entertaining, basically. And I wanted it to also feel kind of like a library, so I put these bookcases back here, and I also sized them up using the tool mod. And it doesn't really feel like a library, but it has kind of a feeling of it, I think, having like those bookcases in there. And then over here is going to be the kitchen. This was where the kitchen was originally. It's actually bigger than the kitchen was originally, and I feel like that's ridiculous because this is like such a big kitchen already. This is definitely the biggest kitchen I have ever decorated, and so I was kind of intimidated by it, but I think I made it work. And I just actually really liked the original kitchen because it had more modern appliances and like this metal range hood that I never use, and it actually inspired me to use it in another build that I just finished. And so yeah, I don't know, I think it looks really nice, and it kind of is a bit surprising, I think, to see such modern appliances, especially with that modern range hood in this kind of house where everything is so traditional. I feel like it just kind of I don't know, it stood out to me in the original house, so I definitely wanted to keep that. Let me know if you guys also like it. But yeah, in here I also added a breakfast table, a bunch of counter space, all of the necessary kitchen items like a stove, a refrigerator, even though I've been so terrible about adding like the necessary kitchen items over on my CC channel. In case you guys didn't know, I did start a CC channel a while back called SimLicy with CC, and on that channel I'm not doing voiceovers, I'm just kind of experimenting with my custom content collection, seeing what I can come up with in different builds, and just, yeah, doing basically a different style of video. And there's been like a couple of apartments that I've shared where there hasn't been like a refrigerator or there hasn't been like a stovetop or an oven, or it's just, it's gotten ridiculous. So I've been trying to be extra careful because apparently I can't just wing it because I'm not going to pay attention fairly. So I thought that was kind of funny, and a lot of you guys have been calling me out on it over there. But yeah, I think this kitchen just ends up being so cute. And then I also added a sunroom here off the back of the house, which I think is just so cozy, and I think it's perfect for this type of build. And it has a glass roof and big modern glass windows and lets in lots of really nice light. But basically in here, I just wanted it to be like a skill building space, a place for your Sims to hang out, have some tea or some coffee, maybe paint a painting because I do put an art easel in here. I think I also placed a chess table in here if I remember correctly, and then a couple of places to sit down, and also a violin, and just, you know, just different activities that I thought would be nice to have in a room like this. And I wanted it to feel a little bit more like outdoor space, so I chose this chess table and chairs that look like they would belong in a park or something, but I feel like it kind of gives it more of that greenhouse feeling. Even though I didn't really imagine your Sims doing any gardening in here, you could definitely move some stuff around and add some planter boxes if you really wanted them to, but I more just wanted it to be just like a casual sunroom, tea room, I don't know the proper word for it, but yeah, I just feel like it's so nice and cozy, and I loved using these blue couches in here. I actually really enjoyed using the base game couches and chairs in this build. I think the traditional furniture from base game is actually really nice. The modern furniture from base game looks very, I don't know, cheesy, and I always have a hard time using it, even though sometimes I feel like I do a good job using it, like in the recent renovations that I've done in Oasis Springs, I think look really good, and I definitely need to do more renovations in Oasis Springs. I feel like I've kind of neglected that world, but I don't know, I love that world. Like, I think it's so pretty, but I always have a hard time building there for some reason. I guess it's just the style of it I'm not super comfortable with. It just doesn't come as naturally to me as decorating in other worlds like this one. I feel like it's easier for me to decorate in a more traditional style. Even though it has some traditional lots in Oasis Springs, like the more like Spanish colonial style builds, but I just don't even know where to begin with those ones either. I don't know. I'll do my best though. I will definitely try to do more in Oasis Springs. But yeah, over here is going to be a mud room of sorts. I definitely imagine this space to be a spot for your Sims to come in from outside, especially if like the kids or something are playing in the sandbox and they're all dirty. They could come in and take off their shoes, hop in the shower really quick, you know, wash their hands and that sort of thing. I feel like this would be really nice for a big house like this, especially a really nice house where they probably try to keep things pretty tidy and clean, especially if the parents are important and they have important people over that they might want to make like a good impression on and stuff like that. So yeah, I felt like that was really nice. And you may notice, if you saw like a glimpse of the exterior, all of my terrain paint deleted when I came back into my game, which is so frustrating. And so I did have to redo all of it. And so it's so annoying, but I think I put it back more or less the same. I don't think you guys will really notice too much of a difference. Here I'm moving on to the second floor. So up here is where all the bedrooms are. There's also 2 bathrooms up here. This one is going to be like the shared bathroom for the children. Originally there were 2 bathrooms in the same location, just right next to each other. And I've mentioned this before in a recent build that I think for real life it's really realistic to have 2 bathrooms right next to each other. And some of you guys mentioned because that like simplifies the plumbing that needs to be done, which totally makes sense. But for The Sims, it drives me crazy when there's 2 bathrooms right next to each other, because usually you play with the walls in, you know, like cutaway mode, so there's only like half of them up, and so you just see 2 bathrooms right next to each other, and it always drives me nuts. I don't know, let me know if you guys are the same way, but I always try to make sure they're like some distance away from each other, so not like sharing a wall. I just feel like it always looks awkward. Here I'm adding a couple of toddler potties. I also add a high chair in the kitchen. I had like no idea where to place it, so I just kind of placed it over where the trash can was, and I moved the trash can to a different location, but I definitely wanted to make sure that there was some toddler activities or toddler necessities like a toddler potty and stuff. And this room is the only one that is not accessible to the balcony, and I mentioned this in the last part that I felt like that was pretty appropriate to keep this a toddler room, but once they age up, it's going to be kind of unfair that their siblings have access to the balcony. But maybe by then one of them will be moved out and they can go ahead and take over the other bedroom that does have access to the balcony, and then they could turn this room into like a home office or something, because I definitely think one of the kids in this house is a teen, and so yeah, they'll probably be going off to college or something at some point or moving out on their own. So yeah, I don't know, I didn't really build this house for any particular family necessarily. I more just wanted to like decorate it in like a cute way that I thought looked nice. So yeah, but of course if you wanted to play with those particular Sims, I think that would work out nicely. But I think this room is super cute. I love how it's blue like the rest of the house. This wallpaper was here originally and I just really liked it, so I ended up actually using the same wallpaper for the other two kids' bedrooms, just in different swatches to basically to switch up the colors and stuff, and I think it looks so cute. And I don't know, I just think that toddler room is so cozy. And yeah, here I'm just picking out the other wallpapers for those rooms, and I just absolutely love these rooms too. I feel like they're so cozy. This one is pretty simply decorated, but this is the one that I imagined was for a teenager, and I think that this teen also might not be here all of the time. Of course, like I said, I didn't really build it for any particular Sims, but this one is so sparsely decorated that it just kind of gives me the feeling like this teen isn't here very often. Maybe they have a different parent, like a different mom or dad than their siblings, and so they spend part of their time at that parent's house and then the rest of the time at this house, which I feel like is very realistic, and you know, there's lots of families like that. So I think that's kind of a nice story, and that kind of explains why it's not as like overly cluttered or decorated like the other two rooms, because these kids are here all of the time. And it also makes it a little bit easier in case you guys do have high school years, then you could add some more of like the teen posters and personalize it, because of course we got a lot of teenager decorations in that build. But over here is going to be the kids room. This room ends up being very orange, and this was inspired by the wallpaper basically, and there's lots of really nice orange decorations from the base game for kids furniture. And then I also add like a little bit of green and stuff here just to kind of break up all of the orange and kind of tone it down a little bit, but it's still very rich, especially with this rug in here. But I really liked it. I think this room is very cozy, and I don't know, I just really liked including the kids decorations. Kids rooms are just always my favorite to decorate, like no matter what, just because I feel like it's so easy to give them so much personality, and there's just so many cute things for them, even though I still feel like we need more, like more kids artwork basically. Actually, we have quite a few posters now. It's more when decorating like nurseries and toddler rooms that we just don't have a lot of artwork for. I think we definitely need like a pack specifically for like a nursery kit would be perfect. And I think they just leaked the like newest kit, and I feel like that's too soon. We just got an expansion pack, we just got a game pack, like we need some time to breathe. I think time to enjoy the packs too. I feel like it's just like one after another, which I mean is kind of good, but I think it's too much. Let me know if you guys agree. I feel like I've been seeing some people that say the same thing, and so I feel like a lot of people might agree with that we need some time in between packs. Not too much time. Like I feel like when there's like months in between, it gets a bit not stale necessarily, but maybe a little bit stale. Like if you need some new content to keep things exciting and interesting and new, but I just feel like it's been too close. So I don't really know anything about that kid. I just kind of saw it on Twitter, so maybe it's not even real, but I think it was an official leak, like on the Sims website or something. I don't know. But anyways, here is the master bedroom. So in here, of course, there's the master bed. There's a fireplace. I also made like a little seating area in front of the fireplace, and then I added like a bookcase, a dresser, and some artwork and just random bedroom clutter. And then over here is going to be the ensuite bathroom. It's open to the bedroom, and I mentioned this in the last part that I feel like this is pretty realistic for like a big house like this to have like an open bathroom to the bedroom. Maybe not in this like older style of a home, but I really like it. It makes a master bedroom just feel like extra like a master when it has an open bathroom, even though it'd probably be better if the toilet was in its own room, because I have an open bathroom to my bedroom, but the toilet's like in its own little room, and the last house that we lived in was the same way. So I feel like that's pretty common, but I didn't really have the room to do that in this one. Over here is going to be like the entryway to the master bedroom, and I just turned it into a little office space because I felt like this was the best use of the space, and it made it feel less awkward than if I would have just left it kind of like more empty with just artwork and stuff on the wall. But I feel like it looks really nice, and it's nice and cozy, and it's nice to have an actual office space for the Sims that live here. And like I was saying, once the teen gets older and goes off to college or moves out or something, then maybe the toddler room could be turned into a home office, or even the attic space up here could easily be turned into a home office. But I just turned it into like an extra skill building area, and I also made it a lot smaller than it could have been originally because there's lots of like dormers and extra pieces. I just more simplified the space so it was easier to decorate, but you could easily expand it and change it up in here if you had like specific hobbies or interests for your Sims and stuff. But I just put some artwork up here, some books, and a piano, and yeah, I think it's just like a nice space for your Sims to spend time together and do some activities. But this is basically it for, I think, the entire build. Just adding the final few decorations, and I also add a few activities on the exterior like a chess table and a telescope, but not too much more. I did keep it pretty simple. And then yeah, we're on to the screenshot. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one, and like I said, I will have part 2 linked, or part 1 linked in the description and in the end card, so you guys can find it really easily if you guys are interested. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!